Hi, and welcome to this assignment of experiencing sample Smarter Balanced items. In this assignment, you will have an opportunity to try some Smarter Balanced sample items and then discuss the experience with their colleagues. So let's get started. The first step that you want to do is go to the Smarter Balanced sample items link for ELA. So we're going to click on this link, which is right here in our Schoology, and it takes us to the website. Once the website fully loads, you'll actually hover your mouse over this top bar up here that says View More English Language Arts Literacy Sample Items. A blue box you see appears, and this blue box lists grade bands and items organized by skill, like reading, writing, and speaking and listening. For this task and assignment, we're going to ask you not to explore the performance tasks. The purpose of this is just to get a sense of some of the other item types that exist on this particular item. You're going to click on the name of a sample item, the title of a sample item, to view it. In this case, we'll click on Grandma Ruth 2 for grades 3-5. And that assignment comes up, and just move your mouse away from the blue box and it goes away. Once you have an opportunity to look at the sample item, you're going to actually read through it and think about the skills that students are going to need in order to be able to complete an item like this successfully. And then you're also going to think about how these types of items are different from what we currently ask students to do. In order to support you in this work, we have a note sheet for you. You can see it's in Schoology right here, the note sheet. You can download that. You can print a copy, you can handwrite into it, you can type directly into it. Note, however, if you are on an iPad, you won't be able to print it and you won't be able to type directly into it. So what you may want to do is recreate that note sheet on a piece of paper if that works for you. Okay, so back to the sample items. As I'm looking at the sample item, I'm thinking about the skills that students need. One of the things that I'm noticing is that, first of all, we have to read the sentences from the passage. We have to answer the question. And the specific directions say, click on 2 phrases from the paragraph that help you understand the meaning of scarred. Now, as you can see, as I hover my mouse over words, there are phrases that kind of highlight in like a greenish yellow color. No matter where I hover my mouse, any of the phrases highlight. So students really could select anything they wanted to, which makes this question much more open-ended than the traditional 4-item or 5-item multiple response or multiple choice question. One of the skills, though, that I think students are going to need is the stamina to read a long piece of text. The excerpt in the text isn't long, but certainly it comes from this longer piece of text called Grandma Ruth. Because the specific item asks students to use context clues and be able to justify their use of context clues to determine the meaning of scarred, that's also a skill that they're going to need in order to be successful at this task. And from a technical standpoint, they're going to need to know how to navigate a mouse and select the phrases that are appropriate. Those are just a few examples of the skills students need. As you look through the tasks, you might find many other examples of skills students need. So go ahead and just keep working on that. Then what we need to do is think about how that's different work than what we're currently asking students to do. And so as I was doing, I think, aloud and kind of like thinking about what I was noticing about this task, one thing that I noticed is that the current assessment is multiple choice, which means that students could guess and get the answer correct. In this case, though, students have many more options. They have much more than like 4 or 5. That makes it a lot more difficult to guess, because they just really don't know. They could pick any phrase from the paragraph. Also, scarred here in this particular item is really being used in a figurative way. It's not talking about a literal scar on our body. It's talking instead about marks on a baseball and what those could indicate. And so students need to have an understanding of how words are used figuratively. And that's not always present in the current assessments. And again, those are just a few examples of differences you might notice. Certainly you could notice other things as well. Once you have an opportunity to explore a few different item types, maybe from different grade bands, or you could explore all the item types for the grade band in which you teach, we're going to ask you to actually look also at the math tasks. You can do that again by just clicking math and moving over to math and following the same step-by-step process. The reason that we would like you to explore both sets, ELA and math, is because we want you to have a clear picture of all of the things that students are going to be required to do on the assessments. Even if you don't teach math, or even if you don't teach specifically language arts, we want everyone to understand what's required of students so that we can all support each other in moving students forward. Once you've had an opportunity to look at some math tasks in the same way that you looked at language arts, you can go back to our Schoology area, and if you click Next, it will take you into a discussion forum. Once you're done with the tasks, we're going to ask you to actually respond to these discussion questions. You can respond directly here in this forum online, or if you're working with a group of colleagues from your site, you can have a conversation in person, and that's fine too. Again, we want these modules and these assignments to be relevant for your teaching context. So have fun exploring the items.